Okay, now back to what I was saying about when I first met my creature in the noun kind of thing. What happened was, okay, he came and was trying to communicate with me, and I was asleep, I guess, because next thing I know, I'm out of the bed, put my clothes on, and picked my shoes up, walked out through the living room, went out the door, sat down at the bottom of the stairs, and put my shoes on, and went zoom, took off. And my mother saw me go past the door, and she was wondering what I was doing. At first, she just thought I must have got up and get some water or get something in the ice box. But when she heard the front door open and close, that was a clue that something was wrong. So she got up and tried to go out and catch me before I got, but she said when she got there, as soon as she got there and opened the door, she saw me just take off running. So she said she didn't know what the heck was going on. All she knew was she saw her son get up and go out the door and just take off running. And so she said that she had a bathrobe on. She went and got in the car and headed out in the direction that she said I headed out. So and she started searching the neighborhood trying to find me, going down different blocks and stuff, and she couldn't find me. So she said she went to do this for about an hour and a half, or about 2 hours. And when she couldn't find me, she didn't know what else to do but go home and maybe call a police department and tell her something was wrong, that her son something was wrong with her son, and he was running around maybe in days or something. Maybe something was wrong, but she didn't know how to explain to them. But she was gonna go back home and try to do the best she could. But she said when she was headed back, she saw me coming back the same direction, headed back toward the house. So she stopped. She pulled up a little bit past me, stopped the car, and it said got out, and was going to stop me and get me to find out what was going on. But she said as soon as she started the car, she said I walked up to her, opened the door of the car, got in the back seat, and laid down and curled up and went to sleep. Or was already asleep, she said laid there and just curled up. Because I was already asleep, because I don't even have no idea what was going on. Because when she got me home and opened the door, I got out of the car, went back in the house, and got back in my bed. And she said I must have been asleep, because she said something, but she said I didn't say a word. I just got back out of the car, got in the house, and went back in my bed. So she said she just had to let go to the mall until she could, because she was really tired. And she said I seemed to be all right as far as my physical body. I wasn't hurting anyway, so she could see. So she's gonna wait till tomorrow and see what's going on. So in the morning she told me what happened, and I said, "Well, Ma, I don't know nothing about what happened." She said, she said, "But I said, the only thing I can do is figure out what happened is by going to see somebody who would tell me what happened. And the only person who could do that would be a doctor or a psychiatrist, which is both in and the same." So I got me all the information I needed on psychiatrists to go see one. You know, where they were and go see it. So I did. I went and got out there and got to see one. And I told him what happened. And so he said they wanted to keep me up for observation and stuff for a little bit. So I said, that's what we have to do. Okay. But when they get me on observation, they talking about they want to pump me full of this and that. They want to do this and that to me. I took one thought on my head about this. I said, you want to do what to me? I said, I said, that ain't going to happen, buddy. I said, I committed myself here. I actually told you to bring me in. But if I have to stay on this, I am not going to let you do that. And I said, so I need to call my home, call my parents, and tell them what the situation is, and let them decide upon what my next course of action would be. So when they did this, I did this so that just in case they tried to pull a fast one and not let me do that. So when they called my house and let me talk to them, I said, look, even though I was the one who wanted to come here, I'm the one who wanted to get out of this place. I do not want them to do what they're talking about doing. I said, they're talking about giving me drugs and putting me on some kind of medication, which is essentially going to close off a piece of my mind. The piece of my mind they want to close off was the piece that caused me to go out running out the house. But that piece of my mind is still me. And I, for one, don't think that piece of my mind was out to do me any harm. Because if they wanted to be dead, all they had to do was run me somewhere and see a car coming and just shoot me right in front of it, and I would have been a dead man. without question. If that's all it was out to do. I figured this, after I thought about it, after this was all over, what was happening was this creature, or whatever it was at the time, was trying to get me somewhere. I don't know where it was taking me, but it was trying to get me to go somewhere. But because of the simple fact that it wasn't used to my psyche and all that, it had a hard time doing it. Because see, a human being has free will, and even under certain conditions, you won't do something that you're averse to doing. And at the time, I didn't think like I'm thinking now. I mean, all the things about these creatures and stuff, I used to think of them more or less as something I made up, artistic-wise. I created it, and that was it, yada, 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 yada. But it turned out they're not so easily persuaded that way. Because when I started telling myself, saying, look, this is my imagination. The first thing I got from them was, why do we have to be your imagination? I mean, how come you think we're imaginary, but couldn't we just think you're imaginary? I mean, you're talking to us and we're talking to you. I mean, you're not putting no words in my mouth. You said, anything I want to say, I'll say. Anything I don't want to say, I'll say. If I don't want to say something, I won't say it. And the fact of the matter is, even today, when I jokingly call them imaginary beings, it kind of hurts the feeling of them. Because the first time I did it, they got upset because they said they were imaginary. I mean, I used to make fun of them. So they just stopped telling me, well, look, if we're imaginary, then that's what you think we are. But if we're not, well, we can't force you to believe in us. So they simply said, we'll stay here as long as if you wish us to stay, we'll stay. And we'll be whatever it is your conception says. But all we want is not to be treated with disrespect. I mean, it's their way of saying they didn't want to be disrespected no more than I wanted to be disrespected. So it became like a interstructural relationship. I talked to them, they talked to me. Up to now, I never told anybody about it. The only person who knew about them was my family. And, I only told them about them because I used to show my drawings and stuff. And I used to tell them about how it came to pass and all that.